And hello, everyone, and welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Bear, and joining me today is my glamorous co-host,
Hey,
Rody Pie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are you dreaming of spring yet?
It's like, I know you complain it's either too cold or it's too hot, and it's just like, although this is like more carnival kind of get up, I would feel, because here we are Notting Hill Carnival, but it's not happening this year, unfortunately. So sad. Much sadness.
Unfortunately, that's a story in a lot of America. Well, a lot of the world at the moment. Like, yeah, it's not happening. I was chatting with some friends in Indonesia, and it was really fascinating to be talking with people all over the world. And we all have this exact same story. It's like, yeah, I'm just hanging out with family. There's nothing to do. I don't think ever in our lives there's been a time where everyone on Earth is talking about the exact same thing.
This is true. It's like, oh yeah, well, I wish this was happening, but no, it's be cancelled. Oh my god. Oh well, but the podcast has not been cancelled.
No.
we'll still appear occasionally, as often as we can. So yeah, so we're here this week.
Yes, indeed, and hopefully when we do have to go on hiatus again next week, but hopefully I will be back. I'll have all my setup set up at my new apartment, wherever that ends up being exactly. I know the city roughly, but we'll figure. I'm hoping to figure that out as soon as possible and get all settled in. And next time you see me, I will have an entire different background. Might just be a wall, but I'll have an entire different background. That'll gradually put stuff in, and then we can have like, what's new in Dewey's apartment this week? So, yeah. Alrighty, I'm really excited about that. Anyhow, enough of this small talk. We've got important things to discuss. Video games, they've made our lives much more pleasant over these last several months, and I imagine that's the case for a lot of people. And developers are still putting out games, if at a little bit of a slower pace in later months, but there's still games coming out, and there's some really fantastic ones that you still might miss in the flood of shovelware. So we still have good games to show you. So, what have you been playing, Rody? Oh, and I'm going to forget. No. There we go. I only kind of forgot this time. All right.
Yes, so the games that I've been playing. I didn't play like a ton of games this week. I did get to finish Hotel Souls or Souls.
Oh yeah, strange game.
Is really good though. It's really good. It just has enough absurdity, intrigue. There are strange little mini games that are optional. You know, if you want to get like certain achievements or whatever. So that's good. There's nothing like gatekeeping you to progress through the story. So that's really good. And yeah, it's just a really interesting story. And I just think the characters are just super like cute and everything. And yeah, I wanted to know how it was going to end. And it is really weird because normally when I play point and click games, you kind of just, you just want to get through to the end. You want to know what's going to happen and everything. With this, I just wanted to try and get all the achievements because I liked being in the little sort of universe that it's set in, and I wanted to find all the secrets and everything. So yeah, I wanted to like do it all. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend this. Absolutely. And then awesome. I finished that. Very satisfying ending. and it's not one of those. Also, it's not one of those endings where you maybe there's just like a different scene. If you pick certain things, there's like a whole different kind of like scenes you have to play through and everything, like with different backgrounds and animation and mechanics. So it's really good. It's very clever how they've done it. Very well done. And then I started Hidden Through Time, which we have spoken about in the past. So it's like a puzzle Where's Wally kind of game. It's very, very similar to Hidden Folks, like similar animation and design, apart from Hidden Folks is black and white. But yeah, it's just if you enjoyed that, plus there's a puzzle creator, game creator you can do yourself, so that's very, very nice if you're interested in doing that. But if you like the same sort of puzzle elements like Hidden Folks, you'll like this as well. So yeah, it's just nice, relaxing, going through time.
Oh yeah, and it looks really cute. Again, we had a similar game to this last week. If I can even remember the title of that game, but yeah, it's always cool to find these Where's Wally, where it's like those old books. Man, I remember sitting for hours, like reading through those.
I do have one more, but I'm going to talk about it when we get to it on the list.
Alrighty, awesome.
Yeah. What did you play?
Well, I've not been playing too many new games. I've been playing a lot of games that I've played in the past, like Continuing Wargroove and continuing Wargroove, continuing with what's that game called? Temtem, and of course the MMOs. I did check out. So recently came out was PSO2 or Phantasy Star Online 2 came out recently on Steam. And I was just like, okay, what's the big fuss about this? So I jumped in and checked it out. And maybe it was the class I picked, but so far I'm just not particularly enthused. It seems pretty dated. The action combat is action, but there's not a lot of stuff you can do. And yes, you're level 1, but I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but it made me want to play Skyforge. which is a somewhat less well-renowned game that's in this genre, but the combat in Skyforge I feel is just way more fluid. That said, combat in Skyforge, there is more of a sort of lock on target thing. There is for this, you can lock on the camera and such, but it runs very smoothly. The voice acting is comically terrible. But it's like endearingly terrible, like the the low budget anime dubs kind of thing. And again, it works very smoothly and fluidly. It is like 70 gigabytes of data though. Like it's a huge game.
That's massive. Yeah.
So maybe I just need to play a different class than the one I tried out, but I don't know. I just was not particularly enthused with the first mission. And unlike other Japan online JRPGs, like of course Final Fantasy XIV, Dragon Quest, and that other one, Dragon's Dogma Online. All of them have this really intricate story and stuff. And this one seems to put story more on the back end, which is. Most people do not play MMOs for story, but I do.
Yeah, same. Yeah. It's I think it's one of the things that kind of frustrated me about WoW, especially early WoW. Is like a lot of the story was gatekeeped behind like raids and stuff. So if you didn't get, you want with a very if you're not with a guild that gets stuff done, then you wouldn't get to see that content, basically.
Yeah. I do really like it when raids have story, but it shouldn't be the primary way that you tell the story of the world. Like, you're not going to know what happened if you don't play that raid. So, you should be able to see the impact of that raid, and it should be very easily available to you via questing or dungeons as to, like, how does this connect into the bigger story?
Completely.
So I think Final Fantasy XIV has a good balance of that, where even without the raids, you can get the gist. You can get the gist of what happened.
I mean, I've played through the raids with like friends. I didn't need to be in like a big guild or whatever. So I mean, or it'd be me and another friend, and then we have like two other pick up the rest of pickup groups that you get through Party Finder, and that was not a problem. They're probably frustrated with me for not playing so efficiently, but it's like I still got through it, so that's fine.
Yeah, and there was still like and of course they have the story mode, the normal mode, and then they have the extreme mode for the people who are really trying to get that best piece of gear kind of thing. And it's just the same boss, but crazier. And so that's a cool, when you're going to have story and raids, that's a cool way to do it, where that way the people who want the lore get the lore, and the people who want the challenge get the challenge with maybe a smidgen bit more lore. So yep. All right, so that and I also, so I'm gonna lose my I've never played Duke Nukem franchise before, and I played that recently with a group of friends.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of folks are going like, how could you have not played any Duke Nukem? You're like 30 years old.
Well, not necessarily. It's for a certain, it's a particular genre, and if you're not into that kind of genre, you're not gonna be into it.
I will say it's a really fun co-op.
Shit down your neck.
I will say it is really fun co-op, and the world is just wacky and bizarre and very much a product of the 90s. It's cool. The one thing with this is that if you disconnect from your session, you can't get back in. Which a lot of games on Steam are built that way. It does take extra development to rematch people up, but you need to do it. Just do it, because people have sketchy internet. And when you're playing with 4 people, the likelihood of 4 people all having perfect internet is pretty low. But it was fun. There was a cool puzzle. I was playing with people who knew what they were doing, though. So if I was jumping in and playing it without knowing what I was doing, I probably would have had significantly less fun. But yeah, it is such a weird and wacky game. And so it's like, okay, I can kind of see why Duke Nukem has this sort of cult following.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even had I had the computer to have played Duke Nukem back in the 90s, I don't think this would necessarily been in my the group of classic games that I'd be like, yeah, these are formative, because it would still be KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. Yes. Those old RPGs. Yep. And yeah, so that's what I played.
Nice.
Alrighty, so we have a lot of it. It's everyone's favorite condiment. It is Catchup. So we've got to catch up with a ton of games that we were not able to cover due to the hiatus. And so here are a few more. Straight Up Sean, hello! Howdy, nice to see you. So yeah. Our first title in Catchup from February 27th and the 28th. Our first title is Cat and Ghostly Road.
Cat and Ghostly Road is an atmospheric point-and-click quest in which you play as a white cat. You have to go on a dangerous journey to the world of ghosts and demons. Not all things are what they seem. Seems. They put seems.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
Not all things are what they seems.
So this is developed by the mysterious Bob Games. I call them mysterious because no matter how much I've tried to look up about the studio, I can't find any information. So, but yeah, it is developed by Bob Games. I believe this is their only title. But yeah,
it's I mean, they say not all what it seems. It's
as a fan of anime such as Natsume Yujinsho and Mushishi, the sort of like yokai storyline, the sort of weird things happening in a Japanese setting, I definitely find it appealing, and it seems to be a point and click title.
yeah. So it looks like one of those side-scrolling point and click games, like rather than you're going sort of into the like backgrounds kind of thing, like sort of traditional point and click games. It's and it the characters like animation compared to the background, it looks kind of disjointed. It doesn't. It kind of like doesn't blend well with the background. When you look at when you see their walking animation, it looks really odd. It just looks something's off. I as someone who does like point and click games, this for some reason this just doesn't grab me, and I can't like put my finger on it.
It looks very, very 2D, and I know it's supposed to be 2D art, but like in 2D art, there's supposed to be an idea of like what's in the foreground, what's in the background, and add some depth. Yeah. And I'm not getting that sense of depth here. It just looks like any one of these pictures could just be a still, flat picture.
Yeah, it's just like you put like a paper character on there, you're like moving it around, sort of thing, and it just makes it look so weird. But yeah, I just. I've seen, other side-scrolling point-and-click games that just integrate the characters and the background just a hell of a lot better, like Backbone and like was it Tokyo Stories or something like that. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, there's another two side-scrolling point-and-click. And this is. Doesn't look as polished. I'm curious as to how long it is. I'm seeing like anything from 2 to 4 hours. I'm just looking at what people's criticisms are. Moving to different scenes was followed with a black title screen, which felt unnecessary. Trying to click objects would result in the cat moving, swaying the camera angle. This was especially annoying during puzzles. If the outer left, right of the screen was clicked, the whole angle would change mid-puzzle. Awkward inventory system and use of objects. Some obscure objects to locate. Yeah. It's like £4.50. So it's not, the price point isn't like bad at all, really.
Yeah, you can get a cup of coffee for more than that. It's it's $6.99 US, which is a bit more than what you'd get for a cup of coffee, to be fair. But yeah. But yeah, it looks nice. It's
just whether you wanna spend that time like playing this though.
Yep. So, if anyone does check it out, please let us know. Also, Straight Up Sean, thank you for the sub. And on to our next title, the much anticipated Iris and the Giant.
Sorry, let's bring it up. Iris and the Giant is a fusion of the CCG and RPG and roguelike genres. You play as Iris, who must brave her fears in her imaginary world. Dive into a melancholic and gripping adventure filled with cute monsters and buried memories. Ready to face your inner demons?
Yeah, this is an interesting mix of genres indeed, because looking at the aesthetic, I was thinking like, oh, like a point-and-click puzzle game was my first idea, seeing the aesthetic of this title. And then CCG RPG. Oh, okay. It's got a really striking minimalist look to it, with, it seems that it's like a 4-color palette. They have yellows, they have reds, and they have blues. And then they do stuff in between there.
I like that it's like gradiated though, instead of just like there are these sharp colors and then it's like nicely blended going up. So yeah, it's a nice effect. I like it.
Yeah, and they did really good color theory because all the colors all have that same tint where they all look like they fit together. So it's very, very good use on color. The developer is Louis Rigaud. He specialized in art, animation, and games for children for educational purposes. It was a lot of the stuff he's done. So he's done like little animated shorts and stuff. Yeah, so this is it his first game on Steam? No, it is not. He also did Goblins. No, that's a bundle. So yeah, this is his first game on Steam.
This isn't like the sort of genre I would play, but I know like loads of people are interested in especially CCG, and it's gotten very positive reviews, and it's there's 238 people have reviewed it, and 90% of them have given it a positive review. So yeah, I think this is possibly one I could recommend to friends who enjoy the genre.
I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my wish list. It's hitting all the genres. It's not aesthetically the type of game I would normally jump into. I prefer a bit more. Again, this is a very 2D type game. It's very beautiful. This is a very beautiful game, and the characters do have depth in that they pop out from the backgrounds. But it's just like a sort of aesthetic, like I prefer like pixel art, but even with pixel art, I like a bit more depth than what's kind of presented here. But if the system is good, I may have to check it out. And looking at the build grid they have here, I like systems, so I'm curious how that system works. So I'm already pretty aboard this game.
Yeah, it's $13.99. And I haven't seen a lot of people with like a lot of hours put into it, which is kind of worrying. It's anything from like 4 to sort of hovering around 8 hours. So,
yeah, that sort of depends on how the roguelike system works. Because you can generally review a roguelike after 1 or 2 runs. But you don't actually win it until after several runs. But yeah, I would be curious how long the actual game is when it comes to finishing or not. Yeah. Yep. And it's $17.99 US but yeah, this is a solo dev from what I could find. It's just Louis Rigaud. It's his art and his design work, which is very cool. All right. Our next title for Catchup is Arrest of a Stone Buddha.
Hitman is searching for an answer in France 70s.
Yep.
Let's see the about this game. So as a professional killer, you'll live through November 1976, alternating non-stop shoot 'em up with up action with a down-tempo mundane life. You're fast and lucky enough so you don't plan your actions too far. You kill with one shot and you never miss. When you're run out of ammo, you just throw a gun away. You can disarm any enemy and use any weapon. And when it's time to get out, you just use a vehicle nearby. You have an apartment in the historical center of the city. When you want to eat, you go to a cafe, and you can visit a museum or a cinema when you're looking for entertainment, and you have a lover when you need a woman. my god! And there's this question which is longing for an answer. Yes, like who proofread this?
Yeah. So Arrest of a Stone Buddha is developed by Yayo, also known as Vadim Gilyatstinov. So this is from a developer based in Moscow, Russia. And it's, from the sounds of it, it has a better Japanese translation than an English one. So this game has been localized in Japanese and Russian. So development was plagued by lack of funds, but eventually he was able to get artists, because he didn't have a lot of money to spare, but there were artists who were willing to take what he could pay them. Artem Belov, who did the backgrounds. Nikolai Gilyatstinov, his father, was retired and worked on all 1,000 of the sprites.
Wow.
Yeah. And after he had taught his dad how to use the software to make it. And then Ueda M did all the promotion art, manga panels, and Japanese translation. And Vadim, funny thing, because Ueda was working remotely, Vadim thought Ueda was a man for like the first 6 months that she worked for him, because they only communicated through text. So, but they're all still aboard, and that's what they worked together to make their first game, The Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. And this is their second release with that same team. So, and yeah, their upcoming game is a JRPG called Concrete Sutra. I think the dialogue probably is written in pretty broken English, is what my concern would be.
Yeah, I looking at the Friends of Ringo Ishikawa, that's gotten a lot of like reviews. There's like 762 reviews are very positive. And it's not like a free game or anything. So yeah, I'm wondering, and this is on sale right now, and this was released in February, so I'm wondering if they can kind of try and get the same people to snap this one up as well, because seems like he's producing things that people like.
Yeah, so the first game got very good acclaim. However, it's extremely story-based. Where I was looking at the reviews that I was looking at while I was researching the studio, Arrest of a Stone Buddha seems to be the story. It's more about the gameplay, and then the story is just very small moments in between the gameplay. And whereas Ringo Ishikawa has a lot more depth about all the different characters in his life and has all this like world building. This one has far less of that, and it's gotten somewhat less positive reviews at only 79% positive because of that.
Right,
it's just
it's
less liked as the previous game.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's like anything, like your second game that can either be like a hit or a miss, It's a shame. I suppose if it has been in like development hell, you kind of like just want to get the project kind of like finished, get it as done as much as you can, and just get it out there really, because
yeah. The coolest thing about this title was just I found out about the studio, because like the first game also, The Friends of Ringo Ishikawa, is heavily based on his life growing up in 1980s Russia. Like, and so he had all these interviews with various different gaming. One of them from Kotaku, and there's some of the scenes in Ringo Ishikawa that's like, wow, that's really horrible, but it's like based on a real life event where like he came home and there was blood on the stairway, and it was because his dad had gotten stabbed when someone had attempted to rob the house. His dad survived, but there was like blood everywhere, and like that scene of him coming as a kid and there's just blood like flowing down the steps, and he's like, what? So yeah, so just all this like there's a lot of moments in his life and for Friends of Ringo Ishikawa that are from his own life, and I think that's probably why it has a better review rating, is I think it probably has more of himself in it than the second one. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Smut Girl. I'm glad you can make it. We're just coming towards the end of the catch-ups.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Anyhow, I've put the first game, Ringo Ishikawa, on my wish list, and I do want to find out about Concrete Sutra. But personally, Arrest of a Stone Buddha doesn't interest me that much. It costs $7.49 at 50% off, $14.99 regularly, US.
Yeah. It's I was gonna say, 50% off, £5.69. So I think, it's such a big discount. It's like, maybe worth picking up once you played through the first game.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep. Alrighty. Our next title is Wallachia, Reign of Dracula.
Just loading. Come on. Yeah. Wallachia, Reign of Dracula is a retro-styled action platformer shooter game. Oh dear. Okay, let's read the about. Okay. Wallachia, Reign of Dracula is a retro-style action platformer shooter game. It features a cast of professional voice actors, including Kira Buckland and Robert Belgrade. The game also features a unique soundtrack and a story based on the history of Vlad the Impaler, rather than typical vampire myths. In addition to its action-packed 7 levels, the game includes loads of bonus content and minigames, as well as unlockable official crossover content from Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Players take on the role of a new protagonist named Elchin Floeria to take on Vlad Dracula and flee Wallachia of its tyrant ruler once and for all. Oh my god, some words in there.
So Migami Games is a studio in Paris, France, as well as Minnesota, so I think they have people working remote with each other. And the devs are massive fans of Castlevania, if you couldn't tell. And they have developed actually a lot of freeware games in the past that were just Castlevania-esque type games, but I think those were actually built with the Castlevania, like a Castlevania hacks, so that's why they weren't sold. They were just freeware games. This is a game that they've made themselves and have released out there, and I haven't found any other games that are for sale. So I think this is their first, like, trying to make money off of all their love of Castlevania.
It's kind of put me off. Like, the first thing they've mentioned is like the voice acting rather than the gameplay.
Also, I didn't recognize any of these names.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I do follow a lot of voice actors. I've never heard of those people. Maybe they've done a lot of work. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The gameplay does look very Castlevania-esque, and that's not a genre I'm particularly into. So maybe for the folks who are familiar with it, they might be like really like, oh, I need this on my wish list now. But for me, I'll probably be giving this one a pass. Yeah,
it's got 51 reviews standing at 86% positive. So, it's definitely on a lot of people's. It ticked a lot of boxes for some people. I'm just looking through to see what any sort of criticisms. Some people are saying that the game is a bit is broken. Shooting the bow is only functional while running and not while standing in place because regular misfires will occur. That is unintentional by the developer. Although the developer stated in the discussion thread that he is looking into this bug, it has been over 2 months and still no fix. So that was when was that? That was in June. Someone said that in June. So
the last update was in March. Yeah, that was the last update I see. March 8th.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that is but despite that bug, it's still got an 86% positive, so
yeah.
That is good to know.
It's £7.19. I'm not sure how long it is. There are various various times. And looking at this, it seems like a lot of people have put their, reviews very quickly after only playing like maybe just over an hour or something like that. So yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the total hours of the game are.
Yeah. It is going for about $9.99 US, which is a reasonable indie price, but again, I don't know how big of a game it is.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, and with that is all of our... Oh, how much is it in the UK?
I said $7.19.
Oh, okay, $7.19. All right. All right.
I did say.
You did say, no problem. Yeah, and so with that's all of our that is all of our catch-up games this week.
Yeah, also that's from our hiatus from before. That's all of the catch-ups from till when?
Yeah, until April. Yeah, and then we have in between April and June 27th. So
yeah, nice.
So we got one block of catch-ups done.
Yay!
Yay.
Progress.
So soon enough, we'll be bringing back everyone's favorite category of dishonorables once we get all caught up. So
yes,
yeah,
I look forward to that day.
Yes. Anyhow, so next we have our hidden gems that we found in this week's release list, and we're excited to offer up to you. Starting with the lovely title of Skully. There's a lot of games with Skull in the title. My word. Right. Scene. Voila.
Skully, yes. On a mysterious remote island, a skull washes up on shore and is reawakened by an enigmatic deity. Dubbed Skully, the new reanimated being has been summoned to intervene in a war between the deity's three siblings, whose quarrel jeopardizes the island they call home.
So it's kind of an odd little 3D platformer. The art definitely looks... the lighting is less offensive. So this I definitely feel like this was made in Unreal 4. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah. And the thing with Unreal 4 games is, unless you really tweak the lighting a lot, it can look kind of odd. And this one has that odd look, but they didn't abuse glow or bloom too much. Yeah. So it actually looks kind of okay. It looks almost AA. So I find that pretty impressive.
Yeah. However, my criticism about this is the price. It's $24.99.
Yeah, $29.99 US. So it is going for that AA price.
Yeah, and it's like, and I try to, when we see these games, I'll look sometimes in the discussions, and someone has said, why is it so? Quite a few people ask, why is it so expensive? And someone. So someone fired back, probably not the developer, because someone said that's a lot to pay for a platformer. And someone says, well, why are you basing that on? And I was thinking, on Steam, on other platformers you get on Steam. Yeah. This is it. If you're bringing out a game in a particular genre, see what your competition is, and how much they're charging, because people will look at this and think, oh, this is interesting. I'm not going to pay like nearly 30 quid for it though. No, of course not.
Now this is somewhat of an old game, but to compare, there's also another 3D platformer called A Hat in Time that also goes for $29.99. So that one goes on sale an awful lot, and that's when I picked it up. So I don't know if Skully is going to be planning on going on sale. Yeah, they're going at the same price as Trine 4. Mirror's Edge is $20, which I feel is a bit more in line of what Skully should probably be. Yeah. Celeste is $20, but Celeste is a 2D, so I think there should be a price differential between 2D and 3D sometimes.
Yeah.
Because 3D does legitimately add, if you want to make a good, tight platformer, 3D does legitimately add a lot more development time than what you can do with a 2D. But...
So someone's like put in about 6 hours, and it says this is a great game. However, was unable to complete the last battle because there was no interchangeable, interactable objects. I don't know if this was a bug or just stuck at, or I just suck at games. But either way, it was a very fun game, and they wrote their review at 3.4 hours into it, and they were at the last battle.
Oh,
so
3.4 hours.
So yeah, so paying like $24.99 for like 3.5 hours. No.
Yeah, and for reference, A Hat in Time, which is priced the same as this, has many hours of content. I've played 15 hours of that game, and I'm still on like the first zone. So
yeah, that's what I thought, because it's like, if this game, I have just criticized the length of time. If it was like the same length as Hat in Time and everything, then yeah, you absolutely can charge that amount of money. But no, this is ridiculously short. It seems.
They've got some decent art. I like the mud creatures. I like the aesthetic. I like the idea. But yeah, I'm not gonna pay $30 for this. But if it ends up on a steep sale, I don't know, I might pick it up. The platforming does actually look pretty tight. But if there's a bug that keeps you from being able to finish the game,
the dev has responded, so maybe they're looking into it and working on it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. I did it on a few times. Case, yeah, they've it was maybe they weren't doing the last boss right, basically, so they needed to do a certain thing. So yeah, it's still too short.
Still
too short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was developed by Finish Line Games, which is a small studio based out of Walnut Creek, California. Our next title is Relicta.
Relicta is a first-person physics-based puzzle game where you need to creatively combine magnetism and gravity to unravel the secrets of Chandra Base.
All right, interesting.
Yeah. Mind-bending mechanics, alter gravity and magnetism at will, complex physical puzzles. Combine your abilities to innovate ways to solve these physical riddles. Lovingly detailed environments. Each corner tells a story. Each new step is a challenge. Deep and enigmatic background story. Find clues and piece together the details about the investigation of the Relicta's anomaly. Immersive original soundtrack. Slip into the soundscapes of a sci-fi psychological thriller.
Again, the lighting here is not offensive, but it's not particularly good looking. I'm still looking as like, Unreal game. Is what I see when I saw it. But it seems to be a Portal-like game. So similar to the game Portal and Portal 2, it's that sort of a physical puzzler. That seems to be what it... at least from the looks of it, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's it looks like very well done, and I think if you're into those like Portal kind of 3D puzzler kind of games, I think this could be a lot of fun. It's not a bad price point at $15.99. I'm wondering how long it is. I was seeing someone with like over 12 hours of gameplay. So yeah, this could be. Although because it's just releasing a lot of different times on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. This is developed by Mighty Polygon, which is a team of 5 devs from Valencia, Spain. It looks interesting. It's gotten 19 reviews at 89% positive. So yeah, it looks fun. It does. I'm just not sure.
Yeah, I think there definitely needs to be like, like more sort of word on the grapevine whether this is something you'd want to play.
The developer is currently broadcasting the game, so maybe I'll check that out later and see what the gameplay is like. But yeah, yep. So yeah, something like this, you really need to see how smooth the gameplay is. But at least what they showed seems smooth. It's just aesthetically, I'm not too much of a fan. All right, that is Monday, August 3rd. We can now move on to Tuesday, August 4th, with Spitlings. I think it's Spitlings.
Spitlings, yeah. Frantic gameplay, juicy visuals, and hypnotic beats. Spitlings is a cute but unforgiving hardcore arcade game for 1 to 4 players, in which you waggle through a gauntlet of bouncy bubbles.
Yeah, I think Tom's really going to regret not being here for this episode.
Yeah, I was thinking that he'd be saying tight and juicy at every possible opportunity he could get.
Yeah. This looks fun, and also they have both couch and online co-op. So you can play this game on the couch with a friend or family member, but they were smart enough to include an online co-op for people who don't have friends. So just really smart on their end, so big kudos for that.
Yeah, I do like it's very like simplistic the way it looks and everything, but you can tell they put a lot of work into it as well. It's yeah, I like it. Although I'm not the kind to play party games.
So apparently there's 2 levels. Yep, 200 levels and 100 of the little Spitlings you can unlock. So this is almost to the level of a the Behemoth type level of game, like how much they've developed it. So pretty impressed.
Yeah. But yeah, if you've got like some friends you want to load this up with, it's 10% off right now at £10.79. Again, these kind of games would go better if they had a bundle that you could give, you buy the game and then you could like give it to other people. That would have been
that would have been really smart. Just always have a bundle that's like for 4 copies but for the price of 2 or 3. That's really smart. And I think they would probably have gotten a lot more sales. But yeah, massive Miniteam. They're a small studio from Cologne, Germany, of about 9 devs. But yeah, it looks really fun. It's got bright colors. Apparently, there's a story campaign.
Oh, interesting.
That you can also play co-op. So just very, very odd. And they somehow made Spit not seem disgusting, although they do have the Foley. They do have all the Foley audio work, but just visually, they could have made it very unappealing. That's one of the reasons why I don't like. Again, I'm gonna do another gaming faux pas right now. Another reason I don't really like the Isaac games.
Yeah,
it's just like so gross looking. Like I'm like, ugh, TMI. Ugh.
I mean, I'm not really. I just the Isaac's games don't appeal to me. I feel they just like they're just not like they're not the kind of games I play anyway. That's sort of fast paced. You have to, but it looks sort of it's all brown and like mud and it's like I know that's part of the story and everything, but it's it's not easy on the eye.
No. But yeah, and the studio, let me see, they are YouTube. As you can see, they are streaming right there. Unfortunately, they don't have a face cam, so I can't go like, oh, that dev has a nice beard, but nope. So, but yeah, the dev is working. It's streaming, so you can watch them play and hopefully scream at each other in anger. Our next title is Hellbound.
Classic first-person shooter style. Oh, excuse me. I'm like, classic first-person shooter style game, like the good old days. An action game focused on speed, gore, guns, and metal music, inspired by the '90s classic with modern visuals and audio.
I like how they can just say 90s classic, and you know exactly what game they're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this studio out of Argentina, they Saibot Games. They call themselves, they focus on tough games, and they were really just going for a budget version of what people liked about Doom. So, and that's what this is.
Nice. And you played Duke Nukem recently, so you know maybe this is like could scratch an itch for you as well if you're looking for a more of a modern take on it.
Yeah, maybe. It's still not really in a genre I normally play. The main reason I was playing Duke Nukem is because I had friends. But does this have multiplayer? No, this is only single player. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Only single player.
I'm just seeing how long this is because there's not like people haven't really racked up a lot of hours on it, apart from the person who gave it a thumbs down. They gave it a thumbs down at 5 hours, no, nearly 6 hours, and then played for like until 25 hours. So it's like I don't like this game, but I'm gonna keep playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like those reviews at 40 hours in, negative review.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. Well, they put in their time, so they clearly have a reasonable opinion about why they don't like it.
It's one of those things, isn't it? There's some people who feel that you can't do a proper review without playing the whole of the game, the absolute entirety of the game. But it's like, you know, if you've played a certain amount and you're not enjoying yourself, you know, why should you play to the absolute end of it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know some folks like that. And I think it comes from back when you owned like a console and you could only afford to get one game at a time.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got my game, I have to finish it before I buy another game. So
yeah,
I understand the mindset, but yeah, it's like we live in the modern era where the internet, you can download another game.
Yeah, no, completely, and it is, you know, if you're not having fun, like, don't kind of force yourself to try and finish it. You know, though saying that with my it's like I gotta finish this game.
You could feel like your inner like, oh no, I'm being such a hypocrite right now. Yes. Like all this talk about not torturing myself.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my word. Yep.
I think I'm like that because it's like, oh, for goodness sake, I bought it. I need to like play it. Although there have been like 1 or 2 games that I've just played through, like played a bit, and it's just like, no, I can't play this anymore. This is like just bringing me down. And there have been a lot of games that I've played through, and it's just like, God, was it really worth playing all the way through? So yeah, oh my god.
Yep. So yeah, for as far as I can tell, it's Doom. It's Doom, but on just a modern take on it. That said, I feel like if these folks had like released it back in 2015 before the new Doom game came out, they would be seeing some really great success right now. So just a few years too late, but
well, you know, they've got 172 people reviewed.
Not bad.
70% positive, and it's on sale 20% off right now at £9.11.
Yep, that is good money. And Saibot, they also made a few other games, notably Doorways. which also seem to be all be very dark and gory. But it has fairly positive reviews. So the old prototype. So they seem to have a reasonable fan base. This one has mixed reviews at 66%. But yeah, so that is Saibot Games. Hellbound will put you back $11.99. Yep. Okie doke. Our next title will put you nothing back because it's free to play. Soulfire.
Soulfire is a battle royale fighter that pits more than 20 teams against each other in a struggle for win. In a struggle for win. This is compared to similar games. It features a 2.5D Souls-light combat system.
Yep. So this is sort of interesting. It is your 20 teams on just a 2D path. So your 20 teams, that means you, unless you're at the end, you have one team somewhere over there and one team somewhere over there. So it's interesting how it's just this sort of 2D system. It looks like you might be able to go up floors. But yeah, very, very interesting concept.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how fun it would be, but 77% of people say it is. So, of their 639 reviews, by the way. So it's an interesting idea at the very least.
Yeah. You know, if you're looking for battle royale, that's a bit different, and it's free to play. You know, you can give this a go for sure.
I don't know about in-game purchases. I was reading some reviews and they seem to hint at it, but they do have, you can buy the Crow Hunter, so a character you can purchase. But, yeah, so they seem to be going for the microtransaction monetization, which makes sense for Battle Royale usually. AyDream Company, this is their first title on Steam. I've not been able to find any information about them. I do really like the aesthetic. It screams Torchlight. And honestly, I would love it if these people did like an ARPG. I would be in on that, absolutely. I'm not a Battle Royale kind of guy, but if this was an ARPG, I would be putting it on my wish list right now because I love the look. I love their aesthetic. Yeah, I would be into this. So yeah. Soulfire by AyDream Company. Our next title is highly anticipated. It is Littlewood.
The world has already been saved. Now it's time to rebuild your town, learn new hobbies, and forge lifelong friendships in this peaceful and relaxing RPG.
Overwhelmingly positive, 95%.
Yeah. And there's 1,406 people that have reviewed this, given it a positive review. Well, 95% of them have anyway. But yeah, I have played this. So this was a Kickstarter, and I just missed I only saw it after the Kickstarter had ended, and I reached out to the dev, say, "Are you doing a Slacker backer thing?" He said, "No, but I'm going to put it in early access and you can purchase it then." And I've been on their Discord and everything like that, keeping up to date. So when it came out this week, I snapped it up because I don't like buying things in early access because I don't know how much they're going to change of it, and also if they're going to wipe saves or something. But no, my save is still there from the demo that was on Kickstarter. Which is insane. But oh my god, this is so much fun. If you like Stardew Valley, this game is definitely for you. Although I feel the farming aspect is less intense. This is for me, it's been more about getting those kind of story achievements, because you've lost your memory. You were the hero, you saved the land, and now you've woken up and you've completely lost your memory, and so you're trying to kind of find out what happened. You remember the Dark Lord who you defeated, and so through getting new townspeople and everything, and you finding out more and more what happens. And I have sunk 42.9 hours into the game already.
Well, if that's not a stamp of approval, I don't know what isn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm not one of these people who'd play 40 hours and give it a thumbs down. That's but yeah, this is it's enjoyable. It really is enjoyable, and I suppose the only critique that I would have with it is, so I've nearly gotten I think I'm only missing like one resident I haven't been able to get yet, because you have to get like 20 books, and that's quite difficult to get that last resident. But there aren't many sort of like scenes with this last resident. There are like 2 scenes you unlock with them from looking at the you can keep journal tabs on how and aim to get it. It's good because it lets you know what you can aim to get, sort of thing. But there's only 2 scenes, so I feel like, wow, you put all that work and effort in, and it's like you only get like 2 sort of like cutscenes with this new resident. So I feel that there are certain things lacking. There's certain depth lacking as well with when you're you have the forest, the dark forest, and the sort of like dark caves. There are kind of, the maps are randomized, but you can only go sort of like once to a sort of lower level one, once to a second level, like a further higher level one, and like the max level one, again, you can only go like once a day, sort of thing. So, and you don't really explore it so much as to kind of go in and see what materials it's offering, rather than like, let's have a good explore around the forest, see what like exciting things we can find or whatever. It's kind of like, I've gone in, had a look, no, I don't want anything come out again, and I can't, So yeah, so that would be my sort of criticism for it.
And so you're at all concerned that the last character unlocked wouldn't really give it a satisfying end?
I would just like I would like there to be, so like with some of the characters you have like maybe like 4 or 5 sort of cutscenes with them, like, and then maybe just like little fun ones, not necessarily like story enhancing, but there's sort of like little interactions which are really nice. Oh yeah, everyone is thirsty as hell and everybody and all the other residences, so it's like, oh my god. But yeah, I
so thirsty.
Yeah, they really are. So you say, yeah, I would just like more for the later residences that you get, because there's like three, I think, and they only get like a couple of cutscenes, and I would just like to see them more, to see their like personality and things. That's mainly it.
Yep. Well, it looks really sweet, and it's got that lower fidelity, like a lower pixel count than Stardew, but it still kind of works. It still looks pleasant. Yeah, it's just really sweet, and it's only $14.99 for 40 plus hours. Is what you're saying? So.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm definitely play it more. I really hope he brings out like more content for it. And it's $11.39. I snapped it up because I knew I was going to get a lot of hours out of it and enjoy sort of like the journey of it all and everything. But yeah, I'm hoping he's going to bring out further content. That would be nice.
Yeah, I need to finish My Time at Portia too. I need to finish that game. I'm just thinking about that, looking at this. It's like, My Time Portia. So the developer, this is a solo dev by the name of Sean Young, and he is of Wraith Slayer fame. He also did the art for those games Kindergarten 1 and 2. So, yep. So let me see. Wraith. He probably has it on Sean Young. Boo-doo-doo. Yep. Yeah, we talked about Wraith Slayer too. Yep, so that's always kind of neat, like when we talk about one of their previous releases and then they release another game. So that's pretty neat. So yeah, we talked about this game. That was only a year ago.
Yeah, it was good that from the Kickstarter to bring it in early access and then to full release, it's like, you know, there is so much content and you know, to play through, because, you know, I feel like a lot of Kickstarters, they just drag bringing them out. Oh, and also another thing I would criticize is that it seems the only season changes is that you see on your farm, but also like certain seasonal items like fish. You'll get the same fish at your farm at certain seasons, and you will in any other place as well. So it's kind of like, but that place hasn't changed seasons, and yet there are different fish. So it's the same fish as your farm. It's like, can you not indicate that the seasons have changed there? Yeah. So little things like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty, next title. Last title for Tuesday, August 4th is The Battle of Polytopia.
Welcome to the unique turn-based strategy game set in the strange, flat world of the Square. Lead one of 12 distinct civilizations to victory by expanding your empire, researching technologies, and ultimately become the ruler of the world. Play in a single-player or multiplayer mode for up to 12 players.
This looks really cute. And I feel like it's low poly. Normally, when I see low poly games, and I can't tell whether they're bought assets or not, I'm pretty like, eh. But here, it really works, and this kind of shows like how few polygons you can have and still make a game look good. And I think it also works just because it's a top-down turn-based 4X type game. That's really clever, really, really clever. So yeah, good work.
Yeah, I like the, you know, when they have that sort of clouds that you can't see over until you explore them. It looks like a kind of like iceberg almost, and it looks really great. It looks fantastic. Considering how low poly it is, and was a genre that I used to play a lot of, but not so much now. But yeah, this is one I'd probably pick up if I was still playing those kind of games. There is 292 reviews, and it stands at 97% positive.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It looks really cute. They have they also have individual tribes for sale. So they have the Aquarian tribe, the Sluriong tribe, and the Polaris tribe. Suliri. Oh wait, this is Greek. I remember Greek. Zuluride. I think they're probably just random text. It's like an alien tribe or whatever. Anyhow, and then they got the Polaris tribe. So they got 3 tribes for sale. I don't know if those are included, because they say choose to play of one of 12 tribes. Does that include these DLC, or is this 13, 14, and 15? I'll want to know that. Yeah. But yeah, it looks really neat. They've got all these fantastic variants and environment. But beware the Vengir, purple rhino pig riding warriors. So I guess those are like the the unaligned like pirate kind of or rebellion group. So that's kind of neat. Really cool looking.
Someone has put the game is great. Only reason why I give it thumbs down is because of multiplayer matchmaking interface is beyond horrible. You don't have a clear view of what games are available. There are no sound effects to warn you when someone enters or leaves the lobby or game should start. So yeah. Someone said that the random map generation half the time decides the victory on turn 1. That's quite bad.
Oh yeah, if you get a really bad set of resources,
yeah,
that can happen. That can happen. Normally, there's a more complex algorithm in games like this to try to even the odds a bit more. So that can happen.
It's 33% off right now at £7.63.
Very cool. This is by Midjiwan AB, which is a studio out of Stockholm, Sweden, and it costs $10.04 US, 33% off. Our next title for I put Tuesday, but it's actually Wednesday, August 5th, is Scrutinized.
Work to expose the numerous criminal degenerates that plague your quiet town. Use citizen-issued reports, police records, social media accounts, text conversations, and more to determine who's an actual threat and who's harmless, all while avoiding the killers trying to infiltrate your home.
Yeah, so this is Papers, Please with a horror element, because you also have to actively protect your home from people trying to get in. But then when you're at the computer, you have to sit in the computer and you're blind to everything that's happening around you. So you have to do one thing, but you also have to know, like, oh, I better go check, like, what's been going on.
Oh my god! See, I thought this was like interesting concept, and I like the sort of like Papers, Please aspect, but the horror aspect, like, it's like, oh, I've got to check this. Let me. I like the detective work sort of thing. And then it's like, no, someone is possibly in your house or coming after you. Oh no. I could deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a thing where it's a combination of two genres where I don't know if the people who enjoy these two genres would necessarily cross over.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because Papers, Please is more of a laid back, like, making decisions, like, okay, this goes here, and deductive reasoning. And so you can kind of sit there and make your decisions. Whereas then this adds an element of stress to that. And of course, horror games are all about stress and anticipation and, like, oh, what was that kind of thing. And so you're just melding two games that by themselves have very different feels and experiences, and then combine them together. I'm just not sure it works, but kudos. I always like it when studios do kind of combine genres and see what happens. So I'll give them kudos for that. But I'm not going to be checking this game.
Yeah. Me neither. This developer though has like quite a prolific following, because they did Welcome to the Game and Welcome to the Game 2, and they both have like over 1,000 like reviews, and most of them are positive. This is starting at 122 reviews, which is 91% positive. So he's got a following.
Yeah. The sort of home invasion horror seems to be their niche, and people really like it. The folks that are into that, so I'm sure it. What this might do is it might introduce horror fans into the Paper Please genre. So, which I guess is an interesting crossover.
Yeah, this is £7.89. I think saying that, I think I do know like a few people that that do like horror, and they did like Papers, Please. So I think there are, although this seems like a very sort of niche thing, I think there are some people that would definitely love this game. Definitely.
Yeah, I think it'll cover a niche, and it'll be a really unique experience because of it. So, yep. It is $9.99 US. Yeah. They added a patch recently too, August 9th, patch 1.1 with detective mode. So, what is detective mode actually? Oh, okay. In this mode, you simply solve cases. That's it. No threats are active. Don't have to worry about the lights or windows. No jump scares. Nothing outside of crime-solving mechanics. It's purely... Oh, this is really cool! So now suddenly Rhodey might be interested in this game because there is a way to play it where it's just the detective aspect of it, of matching things up and figuring out who's the guilty party.
Oh, now see, yeah, now you grab me. Now I'm interested.
That is a pro gamer move right there. Just like, that's excellent. That's a really good idea, Reflect Studios. Here I was going like, I don't know if this is kind of weird, but it seems that they also realized that it's kind of a weird combination. That's awesome. Oh.
But ain't on my wish list.
What do you know? Yeah, that convinced Rhodey. Rhodey is aboard. So, good job, Reflect Studios. I'm really impressed. 4 days after release, they released that patch. So, cool.
Oh, nice.
Our next title is from Friday, August 7th, and it is Pixboy.
Arcade platformer in old school colors. That takes you to the 90s. Well, 90s games this week. Fight for spare enemies, beat levels, seek for secret rooms, and have fun. Make sure you have fun now.
I don't know. I feel like it's scary that 90s is just solidly in the retro category now. I'm old.
It makes me kind of happy that it when, you know, like we said earlier, when you say 90s, you know, like instantly what? Yeah, you nod along and say, yeah, absolutely, yeah. This is what it is.
It is kind of fascinating because I feel like when I was living in the 90s, I had no idea, like, looking around what would define the 90s. And I think the same thing's going to happen with the 2020s and 2010s, is that couldn't really tell what defined that period when I was living through it. But now, like, looking back, it's like, oh, yeah, this is very obviously 2020. So I'm very curious what 2020 retro is going to be like.
Yeah.
So.
Like I can... Like, looking back at the 2000s, I can tell, like, especially with the point and click genre, you can tell which, because they just was starting to do sort of like 3D, like that was getting more 3D realistic, and it looked very, very odd.
Anyhow, all this talk about retro, but Pixboy does look like a pretty interesting platformer. They do a lot of neat artwork with just using the two colors, you know, so this is like the original Game Boy type, how it would work, where you just have the black and you have the background, and that's it. So it looks really neat, it looks really cute. This is probably an aesthetic I'm not a super fan of. I do prefer pixel art that has color. But the platforming looks very tight. This looks like an actual pretty difficult platformer, actually. So.
Yeah. Oh, there's kind of like a neon green and black sort of background as well, and yeah, it like you said, it prefer like the modern pixel things that have had a revival, because you know those things are really beautiful, and it's like. There's a reason why we haven't gone back to this. It just doesn't, you know, it's not easy on the eye. So, yeah.
I think it has a place in nostalgia for people who definitely got their start in this era of gaming, though.
Yeah. There's 4 unique worlds with different mechanics inside, 40 handcrafted levels, 150 plus secret rooms, 30 different enemies, 24 retro color palettes, 4 bosses, 4 challenges per level, and a pacifist badge for sparing all enemies.
Oh, that would be really difficult, probably. Yeah.
It's 20% off right now, so it's only £3.19.
I only see positive reviews for this, so
yeah.
So far, yep. It is by Oaky Games, which is the studio in Poland. So the two developers are Maciek Dabrowski and Klaudia Dobrogojska. So, yep. Which I think that's the female version of the last name Dabrowski. So I almost wonder if they're either siblings or husband and wife who made this. But I couldn't find much information, and I don't speak Polish. So, yep. So Pixboy, and it's only $3.99 US, 20% off right now. So, next title is the Henry Stickmin collection.
Choose your own path where failing is more fun than succeeding.
So
about this game,
yeah.
sorry, the Henry Stickmin collection is a Newgrounds Choose Your Own Path classic, reborn and revitalized. This 6-game epic accumulates in multiple entirely canon, extremely different endings. Each step of the journey has you choose from options such as a teleporter or calling in your buddy Charles to help you out. Correct choices will move the story forward, but incorrect choices lead to a fail. If you get to the end on your first try, you're doing it wrong. Failing is half the fun.
So they have like 100. There's like 164 like special fail scenes that they have animated. So this is actually a very old game, but it's entirely remastered. The look has been modernized, so it really is a ton of development went into making this. So yeah, it's cool that the classic Newground games are getting remastered and coming back.
Wow. This is just really, it's quite interesting. I quite like the choose your own adventure genre. I've played like quite a few different ones, and they're always fun to play on a stream as well. If you've got quite a few people coming in, and you can say, right, which people going to choose, and so that's always great for this audience participation. This looks like a lot of fun as well. I'm just wondering, when you reach that sort of fail, when you reach a fail, like how far it sets you back, or you just like start from where you did your fail, or what? I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. I never played the original game. I do know people who did. I know that was a thing back when this game was on Newgrounds. They sold T-shirts, and some people would get the T-shirts with the Henry Stickmin characters on them, just doing crazy stuff. But yeah, it's on. It looks like it's pretty fun, and weird and wacky. So yeah, check it out.
Yeah, and it's £11.39, and from the comments, everyone says 100% worth it. it's overwhelmingly positive. There's 867 reviews and 99% positive. That's incredible.
$14.99 US, and it's you're getting 6 games all wrapped into one. So
yeah.
Alrighty, and it is cool that they're remastered because their art style evolved drastically between game 1 and 6, and now this way they all have the same art style. So that's also really helps make the experience more pleasant. All right, our next title is The Last Survey by Nicholas O'Brien.
A hand-drawn visual novel essay game. About this game, The Last Survey is a narrative essay where you take on the role of a geologist contracted by a Brazilian mining company to survey rare earth metal reserves. Rare earth metal like nickel, silver, cobalt, and platinum are used in most major electronics, including PC parts, green technology components, and almost all mobile devices. However, after a year of conducting your research, you found that there is not enough of these metals on the planet to sustain industries reliant on current supply chains, and you must deliver these findings to the company's CEO, Victor Ferreira. Based on studies and projections from real-world geoscientists and mineral analysis, recent findings show there isn't enough mineral material on the planet for the growing demands for electric cars, high-efficiency fuel cells, solar paneling, manufacturing, and even some of the components used to play and produce this game. Will your choices help steer the direction of your employer away from global mineral fatigue, or will the urgency of your research fall on unsympathetic ears?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's cool that you're trying to do an educational game, but I am concerned that it might lean a little too far into preachiness. A little bit, and less on narrative.
Yeah, so this, I mean, we just spoke about this last week because we were given this to play. So I played it, and yeah, it was, you're right, there was less sort of interaction of choices. It was under an hour. Gonna be, I felt was merciful. It's just like mercifully is under an hour because you don't have much to do, and there's although it's very atmospheric, it because you've got that sort of tense sort of music going. Like, it's not even music; it's sort of like it's a soundtrack going on in the background, and the animation's like very good as well, like the stark like contrast of the black and white, and how you're sort of internalizing everything that's going on, and around you, and how are you going to play this, like how are you going to tell this person, how you're trying to convince them. So yeah, it's interesting in that way, but I think, like I said last week, this really should have been done with like a dramatic reading, like Shakespearean reading or something like that from a voice actor. They would have made it like 100 times better.
Yeah. Then you could have more of the timing on what like the important line is and the scene, etc. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's good to make games with a point, but I feel like you should find out that point through playing the game and not so much just info dump. It is only an hour long, but but I do prefer it when like the game kind of follows me on the journey, and I don't feel like it's exposition right up front.
Yeah, also like playing this, I felt like there was no way any choices that you made like kind of made a difference, really. And also I think there was the first choice I made, and it was a simple one, like it was like whether you're going to have a cup of coffee or a glass of water, and I picked a glass of water, and they still did a drawing of a cup of coffee. And said I had a cup of coffee. It's like, no, I didn't have a cup of coffee, I picked water. They said they were bringing water over, and then it changed, says you put your cup and saucer down, and I'm like, wait, what? Wait,
what? Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, it's like if you only got two choices, make sure that you've animated and written that in properly, But this is 10% off, and it's £3.59 for 50 minutes of loose gameplay. I don't think that's worth it. I think they should have made this like possibly have made this free, or at least like maybe £1 or something like that, because there's some things that are really great about this, the animation and the soundtrack, but it's I struggle to say that it's a game.
Yeah. It is $4.49 US. That's at the 10% off. And this is developed by Nicholas O'Brien, who is from Brooklyn, New York. Alrighty. Our final title from Saturday, August 8th is Company of Crime.
Company of Crime places you in the heart of 1960s London. Will you build an influential criminal empire, or head up the elite Scotland Yard task force and crack down on the rising tide of corruption? Case out targets, then dive into the melee of your hand-picked team of gangsters or detectives.
So yeah, you can either be the copper, or you can be the gangsters, and there seems to be just two parallel stories that happen if you do that. That's really neat. I like it when you have those sort of two options for storyline, two opposing options. It has mixed reviews at 57%. Out of 38 user reviews, which is unfortunate. Because the sort of tactics based and the whole like management sim and all these elements seem to come together in a really smart way. Like you have to manage a legitimate business, so your cover. Then you have to like recruit people, and there's different classes like bouncer and just straight up thief or brain or smuggler. So they got all these different interesting folks. These interesting characters that you can recruit. There seems to be a lot of character, and I think that if you lose a character, there's just a bit of like, no, that person, I lost him. Just seems like a really cool design.
Yeah, I like that. I hope there's like the Krays that are in this, since it's set in the 1960s, the Kray twins, 1960s London. I wonder if there's mention of that. But yeah, I'm curious as to why it's like starting at mixed right now. So I played now for 3 hours straight, and I think the game is okay. Worth the price? No. The mechanics of how the heat works is not the best. After all the objectives are done in a mission as simple as extortion, you can't leave if the cops don't show. The game only does tactical on the specific assignment. You can't wander around the map. The logic implemented on the combat is sometimes confusing. You do feel after a couple of hours that the game starts to get boring, even with the concept that is an incredible game. Yeah.
So it seems to be a pacing issue as far as like the game experience. Because just little things like how long it takes you to, like, once you've accomplished something, to going on to the next thing. If the time in between those is annoying, like that game that we talked about at the beginning of the show, Cat and Ghostly Road. The whole point where they had that loading screen where they clearly didn't need a loading screen.
Yeah.
You're just adding that time that annoys people, and that's probably what's going on here. Is you have this time and extra steps that just don't have to be there. So,
yeah, especially with a game like this that is really it's got to be fast paced, and that's that's what you want. You don't want to be like fussing around with like loading times or something else that puts an extra gate for the player to try and get over, sort of thing. It's not good. It's not good design.
Yep.
We have the Devin in the Twitch, so no problem. We're glad we could like play your game. Thanks for giving us a copy. Didn't have the budget for a dramatic reading, but I've been performing the game in front in live audiences. Oh wow, I would. I would probably enjoy that, because like going to sort of like independent theatre and stuff like that, and I think that would be like interesting to sit in and watch, and you giving like a reading and how the audience is supposed to feel, or how the characters are supposed to feel. I think that would be that element that I felt that was missing from your game, when a performative piece. I think that's what it needed, definitely. So my experience in executive office is they serve everything on sauce. So that's like they sort of what's up. People then vote for choices in real time. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nicholas. We appreciate you stopping by and let us know that. And he's talking about, of course, everyone else. He's talking about the last survey, which we were just discussed before. Company of Crime.
No, definitely. Oh god, if you have like either a recording or YouTube of you performing that, as performing, I'd love to like see a video of it, because it's like, or you could even have it, or you could either have it as like a DLC that people maybe can download it or some which I think I'd like to see as well. Yeah. So you could have that as a DLC on your game.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because it's because I feel that was the only thing that there was just something missing, and I feel that element was missing, and I feel like if you have it as like a little like DLC, it's like this is it being performed. I feel like that would be something very interesting to have as a DLC of your game.
And we really do appreciate the very thoughtful request about having us review it, and we really enjoyed the letter as well, like when you requesting us, and it was I'm really looking forward to what you do next. So
thank you
so much for stopping by. Alrighty, with company. So back to Company of Crime. Hopefully if there are issues, considering it does get mixed, I'm hoping that they do patch it and update it with some fixes.
The only the thing when, because it's standing at mixed right now and it's at it's so low, it's like 57%. Getting that back up there, to positive reviews, I think is really difficult, and that's the problem when either if people putting it saying there are bugs or something like that, or there is something not quite flowing well with the gameplay. It's something if you can patch it later, I think sometimes you've lost those your audience kind of thing. So it's very difficult to get back.
And on the screen right now is a pre-recorded stream of one of the developers playing it. I like that. They had the porky, what's it called? The pork pie. One of the restaurants the picture of the pork pie, bud in the bush. Oh, that looks good. That sounds delicious. Now my mouth is watering. Anyhow, I'm thinking of lunch. So surprisingly enough, the developer for Company of a Crime is not located in the UK. They're actually, Resistance Games is located out of Oulu, Finland. So I was quite surprised by that, because they seem to have a lot of knowledge about London. So either they did a ton of research, or they have someone who lived there, or they're just like Anglophiles. So
I mean, they could have lived in London for a bit. It wouldn't surprise me. So, you have a lot of people coming.
It's a very international city, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I suppose it's interesting that they have said it in the 60s. So I'm wondering if they know about the craze and everything, and the whole crime wave that was happening in the 60s then, and the corruption with the Met then. So I'm curious. So it's a shame that the gameplay's just not quite there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the nice thing about games is that they're like pencils. Games used to be, when they were released in cartridges, they were like pens, but pencils have erasers, and so eventually, hopefully there is that chance to update it, especially if they're published by IG. So unlike a lot of studios, they have that opportunity to market and go like, hey, there's a new update that fixes all these issues and new content. So hopefully IG can help with that. Well, 1C. It's 1C. Yes. 1C internet, not 1G. All right. And that is all of our games.
Yeah, it's 10% off right now at $22.49.
$22.49. That is $26.99 US. And now we have our very difficult decision to make. What is the best game of the week?
I'll have to go for Littlewood. Just
Littlewood.
I mean, it's one I've played and sunk so many hours in this week, and it was one that I was anticipating to coming out when I saw the Kickstarter last year. Although I wasn't sure how long it was going to be in early access, because I know they say, oh well, it's only going to be like such and such this long, but you like you know yourself, they're never 100% sure.
Yeah.
They're never 100% how long it's going to be in early access for. So I'm glad it didn't take so long to develop. There's that, and there's also the I forget what the name of the game is. Oh, so it's Scrutinized.
Scrutinized, yes.
Yeah, that went on my wish list as soon as I heard that. I wasn't going to be chased. I didn't have to keep a lookout.
The detective mode, which has to be one of the most brilliant advertising ideas I've seen in a while. So that is just a brilliant update where it's like, oh hey, I guess we realized that this is a game that's in 2 genres, so let's allow it to be played with just one of the genres. So it's just very smart, very, very smart of them. Yep.
I have such a hard time starting new games. I'm locked in familiarity most of the time. I'd love to say I started a new game, but all I can say is I picked up an old game again. Oh, I think because the way I do it is I have a few games on the go, but I make sure that I finish all of those games that I picked up. So I'll give myself a limited amount of, and also the new games that I do pick up, they tend to be like shorter as well. Apart from this Littlewood one that I picked up, but I knew I was just gonna like play it all the way through until like either I've completed the kind of a story or I've completed all the achievements first. So either or. So and I've nearly completed all the achievements.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What I'm doing with my Steam account is I have the categories, and I have my completed and my must play, and then my I'm never gonna play these games, and so I make sure to just sort them out. And yeah, I try to, but unfortunately, Humble Bundle just comes along, and I'm like, oh, I need that one.
I've categorized all my games because it's like you pick up something new and it's like, okay, I won't play this right now, but if I'm in the mood for a particular kind of game, and also I've put a category for short games, so it's like, yeah, if I just want a quick hit of something, that's where I'll look in there. So yeah. But what was your favorite?
My favorite, so one from the Catchup, I definitely think Iris and the Giant is. I need to check this game out. Eventually, I don't know if I'll get it right now because, as we were just talking about, I have a backlog. But I want to play this. It just has this beautiful style. It's got a combination of genres that I really like. And I'm curious. I'm really curious what it'll end up being like. So yeah, I have to check out Iris and the Giant. Of the games from this week, that's a bit of a more difficult question. There's been a lot of really good games, but nothing that tickled my fancy as much, I don't think. Probably of the games from this week, I would say Spitlings most interests me as one of those games that I can just play with a group of friends. Very smart that they did both couch co-op and online multiplayer, because this looks like a barrel of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my 2 games. I would say were the best of the week.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and with that, let's just quickly say like what we're going up to. How about you, Rhodey? Where can the internet find you? What are your plans?
Oh, right. Wow. God, it's been so long since I've streamed myself. It's just it's been so tired, but I really want to stream again. I'm thinking maybe just drop the last game. I know I said, oh, play it till I completed it, but it's like, what? You have to ask yourself, are you playing it because you want to know what's going to happen at the end? Or are you just playing it for just because you want it to complete it for the sake of completing it? So yeah, maybe I'll just like say, we've played enough of this and just start something. Because I really would like to like start Tangle Tower. It's such a when I played the previous game, the prequel to Tangle Tower, we all had a good time. I had a good time. The audience had a great time. And yeah, it was just a fantastic game. So yeah, I really want to drop a game and pick another one up.
Yeah, indeed.
So yeah. So yeah, I will let I'll let people know when I'm on again. And but I am going to be moving soon, much like yourself, sort of towards the end of August, beginning of September. So we'll see. We'll see.
And I'm moving next week. I don't know when I'll end up securing an apartment. There's at least one apartment complex that really seems to want me, but I haven't toured them yet. So once I'm over there and I can see the place in person, I'm pretty sure it's going to look good because they're a verified renter and they have got pretty good reviews, and the pictures I've seen from residents seem to show that it looks like a nice place, but you want to see it in person. Yeah, so I have to do that, and hopefully if I can secure one of theirs, but if not, it might be a little while and I'll be staying with a friend and I can't really have my setup there as easily. But yeah, so hopefully soon I will be set up, but starting next week we're going to be in hiatus again, so no episode next week. It depends on how the timing ends up working out between your move and my move.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have like, as soon as we move, we'll have like internet like done fairly quickly, and just like the room set up for when I'm streaming, so it doesn't look like a barrage of boxes are behind me. And but we'll see. We'll have to see. Oh my god.
Yep. I'm really excited to finally have my own place. But yeah, been tired lately. And I think I was sick yesterday because I slept for 16 hours yesterday.
Wow.
Just out of the blue. I was just like, why did I do that? Usually that means I'm sick, and I was just like sleeping it off instead of getting symptoms. I just slept it all off. Alrighty, so with that, our farewells. Thank you everyone for coming by. Oh, and check out our Steam community, our really cool Steam curator page. Yes. So our
sleep is like fun you don't remember having.
Yes.
Oh dear, but yeah, you could guys, if you want to like go to our curator page, really appreciate it. We've got all of, well, not all, but most of our games are up there that we've spoken about. And if you want to read through what we thought of any games that we talk about, go to this page here.
Yep. Most of the games will have the informational tag on them until we play them ourselves. It's just the informational blurb. The reason we add the informational is because 100 or more games release every single week, and only about 10 of them are probably worth your time and interest. And so that's why we still put up an information review, because you want you to know that this game that released, you should at least give it a look. So, because yeah, there's a lot of like weird like hentai shooters and stuff like that get released every week, and it's like, this is like, it looks like it was made in 15 minutes with Unreal. Yeah. So yeah, that's most of the games that get released on Steam every week. So, but there's always gems, there's always good games coming out, and this is a spot you can find them. Alrighty, and with that, thank you so much, everyone. Farewell.
Take care.
Yeah, lovely people's chat.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you, M3M 3X, the developer of The Last Survey, as well as That Smut Girl, and Straight Up Sean. Thank you all for coming by. Farewell. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye.